Last trading day of the year. I almost forgot my headset. What would you guys have done? Anyway, good morning. Good morning. Well, a little Bob Marley radio in the morning. Never hurt anybody. It is 6:32. It is December 31st. You know what that means? It means it's the last day of 2024. So many things to think about, right? So many good days, bad days. Days where you probably should have traded less, days where you could have made better decisions. That's what a trading year is like. Look back at your journal, try and learn from some things you made mistakes with, and move on. That's all you could do. I was talking to my friend Peter, who was telling me how 16, there was only 34 more up days and down days this year, 34. And there was 16 days that made a difference to the year. So I don't know, not much you could put on that except for the fact that, that means there are a lot of days when there's a whole lot of nothing to do, where you just, stick to your guns, you stick to your process. And if you cut out some of those big down days that trading wise, you can make a lot more money. And, if you're long term, which a lot of us should be long term, you should all have long term accounts, putting money every single month is what's going to win. Starting when you're 25 and putting in, full amount for your 401k is how you're going to compound money and save and create wealth. But trading wise, if you do it for a career, you got to trade also then to put some of that money away. But, and if you're going to trade, you better take it seriously. If you're going to trade, you better have your mind right. If you're going to, try and, be right every single day, every single week, every single month with limited down days, there's an art to that. Okay, it's called preparation. It's called routine process. And you got to like what you do. So cheers to you guys who've been tuning in since 2020. A lot of awesome things about to happen in 2025, which we'll get into probably between now and the weekend. And at this point, here we go. Okay, you have, this pattern here in the spies, right? So I woke up this morning, what I do every day, I wake up 4:45, take my big drink of water, come downstairs, I turn my sauna on, I let it get hot. I then look at what's happening around the world. I saw Europe up a little bit, Asia down a little bit. I'm like, futures are probably up a little bit. We're up 15. And then I'm like, okay, futures are up 15. Been very, very choppy. There's been a lot of rebalance type of trades going on, but nothing's breaking. You have this right shoulder building. These are all the things that I'm kind of thinking about as I'm, in my sauna. I'm like, what am I going to do? You have this neckline that held yesterday. You have 584.41 and 583. So, first time from 602 down, we held. So if you pressed here yesterday, you definitely were in trouble. Right? I know a lot of people were so bearish yesterday thinking, oh, we're going to sell off into the close on the last day of the year. People are going to take profits because they have winners. This is going to break. And P.S., we were down up until the first hour. And then, there was a better bounce than not. And then obviously we rolled over once we hit resistance. But it was better to fade into resistance for the end of the day than to try and press from 602 down to 584. So, it's all part of the process. That's another thing. It's like, as I do a lot of research and I see what's happening on Twitter and in all of these social media outlets, like, all these chart patterns become the same. There's obviously a stock is going to go to 140. It's got to go above 130, 120, 110 first, and you have to figure out how it's going to get there. But it's really about how you approach it. What's your sizing when you get in? Do you get too much for yourself? Can you handle it? Just it's the whole execution. And the only way you're going to execute is if you have your mind right. And that's going to be something we're going to really, really work on in 2025. So anyway, at this point, SPYs are up 212. So literally right back into what's it called? This doji candle. Okay, what's a doji candle? Well, a doji candle is basically a big wide range that kind of has some indecision in there, right? So what does that mean with indecision? It means that, he came in, didn't want to rally, didn't want to break. So here we held 584. This is the high. And bottom line is we're right in there, right? This is 590.34. So what that tells me is, if you want to if you're like, oh, we're going to sell off today and not hold the gains, you're in no man's land. Some people start too early and can't handle it. Like yesterday, if you started shorting the SPYs at 588 or 589, it went all the way to 591.74. If you would have waited for the 50-day, hey, maybe, you caught yourself a good fade. Or the same way, if you started buying at 587 and didn't wait for really what was a lot bigger support going across, you started buying early and you need to make money. So it's all about, not doing things in no man's land, looking for compelling areas and looking for signals. So anyway, with that being said, spies are right now right smack in the middle. So there's not a whole lot there. You can maybe fade versus 591.74, but maybe it gets a little closer. Maybe it doesn't get there. Maybe it gets to 591. Maybe it pushes through, comes back below. You have no idea. You got to look to see the way the leaders are, what holds up. Do things go from green to red? Some people are going to fade the open for green to red moves, and that's cool. You could do it versus a 5, 15, 20-minute high. Yeah, why not? You can't really buy the open. So again, it's one of those days where I just said, it's an odd type of open where you have to be a little careful on where you're looking to buy, short or be long, because we're like in a neutral candle and it could explore both ends if it wanted to. So anyway, that's the spies, little doji right there. The Qs, very similar. Did a little bit of a doji below 519, but above 509. So the Qs are still looking good. The Qs are actually above the 50-day. So technology is still showing some relative strength. So got to figure out if that stays. Remember this wide range candle down? We rallied up, made a lower high, broke the 8-day. So, here's the same kind of thing. This is resistance right here at 519, and then you have yesterday's support. Does the opening strength get sold? It's going to be hard to tell, but we'll see. So don't be in a rush. Just because there's reports out there that they're going to be big sellers of equities and buyers of bonds in the last, hour of the day. Maybe they did that already. Maybe that was what Friday was. Maybe it was what yesterday morning was. You don't know. So you have to know it's out there, but see how things react. So here you are, 517.83. You have to 519. IWM, what's it called? Holding on to the lows here by a thread. Okay, so this is still showing relative weakness, even though all the reports that I read are saying you want to be in, the equal weight S&P next year because mega cap and mag 7 carried the weight too much, and if you don't want to be in the small caps because the small caps are very erratic and they don't give you exactly what everyone says they're going to give you, then go with the equal weight S&P or do a little bit of everything. At this point, there's a lot of reports out there also about, listen, there's been 2 years of huge gains, 2 years of 20+%. Can we get a third? Or is this going to be a consolidation year? Is this going to be a year where, you go up a bit, down a bit, and consolidate 2 big years? Or does the range get wider? What I wouldn't expect is another 20+% year. But even if it does happen, who cares? You're putting money in every single month, for hopefully for another, I'm 52. I'm going to be doing it for another, at least 8 years, if not more, besides trading. And if you're 52 and you're like, oh, my friend's like, I'm going to go to cash this year. Okay, you're 52. Are you that good? You're going to go 401k, you're going to go to cash, and then what if we don't pull in? You're never going to go back in. I know people that pulled their money out of the market right before the financial crisis. They felt like the smartest guys alive in 2007, and then they never got back in. And look where we are between 2007, 8, 9 to, we were at S&P 1200. Now we're at S&P, we had 6,000. So again, are you cute? Are you being too cute? And what's your time frame? So with that being said, what about today? So I did tell you guys about, my 2 January effect names that actually made me good money yesterday, thank goodness. One of them being Val, and I put this on as a power play for options. This is an energy name that has been battered and bruised, and people are just selling it because it's been horrible to take some tax loss selling, and finally it perked up coming into the end of the year. So I went from just options to options in stock. And I personally think this has some room, and these big funds out of Puerto Rico that have been buying it, they obviously their gains are going to be, kind of shitty this year. Excuse my French, but for us, it was just a nice targeted buy. So my 2 energy plays for the January effect is VAL and Oxy. Oxy also started turning up on this candle. So that's actually when I went from just options, anticipating the January effect with Oxy, to, hey, there's your first little signal. I want to get long. So I went long the stock and options. And now we'll see. Those are, the energy names. You could do it with the XLE. You could do it with whatever you want. XLE still hasn't done anything. Remember this false breakout up here? You better be careful. When you get an extension or false breakout and doesn't hold an area, you better run like hell. Anyway, so if you don't want to pick names and you think the energy sector is going to be good or whatever, then maybe buy some XLE if you don't want to pick names. But that's the whole you're going to hear on TV, the dogs of the Dow, what does well once tax loss selling is done because there's no more pressure and things lift. And you can be a bottom feeder, If you got stuck here at 95, coming back to 87 and 90 means nothing. But if you're buying versus red dog reversal low and it gets to 87, 89, you can make money as a trade. That's the beauty about being a trader and having entries and exit matter. People like Red Dog, you've done so well in the cannabis sector. I'm like, first of all, I have not. You make money in the cannabis sector maybe once every year in January, February, because it's the most bean down sector because the sector's horrendous. So somebody asked me to look at MJ. I'm going to go see MJ, by the way, over January. Michael Jackson, that is. Michael Jackson, who's on Broadway. It's my era. But MJ is the ETF for marijuana, and look how crush this is. So I'm in Tilray just because whatever. But I guess if you think that this sector that's been so battered and bruised is going to get a January effect, you could buy the MJ versus 213. But this is horrendous. This sector's been horrendous, and but then you go to the weekly or the monthly, and you'll see that sometimes in January. Oh, look what happened last January. It went from 1250 to 32. Because again, it was so battered and bruised. And if you go even further back, it's done it a bunch of times. So how many times is it going to do it? I don't know. This was this January. This was another January. It seems like it only gets a little bit of a move in January. So that's because it's been that bad for 5 years or more. I don't even want to feel embarrassed talking about it. I'm in Tilray. Tilray gave us a decent move. So now, let's hope that this holds and maybe there's a little bit more. But again, these are just January effects because sometimes the leaders are tough, and the leaders have been tough. Look at Tesla. Tesla's been my biggest P&L winner. Yes, yes, yes. Pre-election, post-election, and ever since this red dog reversal up here when it got extended from the 8-day, that was a better sell after a huge move from 360. This was a great play when we're buying versus 348. We added through 361. Great trade, a trend above the 8-day moving average, and then what happened? You bought into support. If you sold up here, you're able to add back. Gave you a little red dog reversal here, gave a lower high. And then I actually made money buying it yesterday. I didn't take it home, though. I have no Tesla on. Tesla's up $7. There was no, you look at people like, there was no clue here besides coming close to the 21-day to take home Tesla. If you did, congratulations. It just, you got kind of lucky. It would have been better to be down, and who knows what's going to happen now. Yesterday's high is what, 420. This is 426.50. This is 427. So I would say the battleground for today in Tesla, if you're short and long, will be here. So if you think the market's going to fade today, yes, you can make some money cute short Tesla. I think there's going to be a lot more money next year buying Tesla. But if you move this down to here, this is the key resistance zone. If it gets above this, what would be next at the 21-day, which has been support. So this is kind of how you frame your morning with Tesla. If you're not in it long, okay, chances are, you can't really buy it here, to be honest. I wouldn't be buying Tesla up 7. I actually have some room. This would be your little bit of a battleground. And then you have yesterday's low is what, 415.75, 415.75. There's talk that there is a sell imbalance on this because a lot of retail owns it, and the funds are two more. So this is going to be a sell imbalance. So be careful. Last time there was a sell imbalance, this fell like $15 in the end of the day. I am in Nvidia overnight. I got a little caught there, so I'm happy that it's up. Because at least Nvidia showed you relative strength yesterday. Nvidia went green early. Nvidia gave you a red dog reversal around this 134. Nvidia was strong until the end of the day, until finally the SPYs went down $4 or $5 and got dragged. So someone's like, well, why are you in Nvidia? I'm like, well, Nvidia looked better than Tesla into the close. And if you had to be in something, Nvidia felt a little bit better. What's Nvidia doing right now? Nvidia is it's up 94 cents. So anyway, and we'll see. This as of right now looks decent. So this is something that, hey, if the market's going to be strong today, it should hold up. If all of a sudden Nvidia goes from, green to red, it's going to be a little tricky. All right, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Go to some comments. It says 2025 is going to be choppy. Ali Hassan just says good morning. What's up, Allison Kaplan? What's up, Nat Gas? Nat Gas. We did sell a little Nat Gas yesterday. It was one of our power plays. Ice barrel next week looking pretty frosty. That's true, Blair. I'm actually going to get another ice barrel because I have the ice barrel for outside. I'm going to get one of those ice kind of another ice, not a barrel, but like an ice tub for my basement next to my sauna, just in case it's frozen in the morning and I don't have enough time to break it because I can't miss a day because I'm the consistent Red Dog and we're going to be doing that. So I'm looking into another ice barrel. I'm actually meeting with the company. Maybe we'll get a Red Dog ice barrel. Anyway, 2025 coming attractions. But I love it when it's cold. I love it when my fingers freeze, my toes feel like they're gonna fall off, and I'm like, okay, I just did something difficult, and then you feel awesome. Like it's all about the physiology. It's all how you feel. Like I wake up in the morning when I go in that sauna in the morning, I'm like half dead. By the time I come out, I'm like, let's go. And if I don't feel like I was in my ice barrel long enough, I roll my windows down and I drive to Dunkin' Donuts and get my iced coffee, to get colder. I don't know. I'm a little weird, but that's weird is interesting, isn't it? So anyway, can you please comment on what? Please comment on inverted yield curve risk. I'm not commenting on that because everyone who said that we're going to be heading for a recession because of the yield curve in the last 2 years has been dead wrong. I'm not an expert on the yield curve. I don't really give a sugar honey iced tea. What I will watch is the TLTs. If the TLTs that just bounced break below 86.98 and the 10-year gets closer to 5, we'll see if the economy is strong enough to handle it. If the economy is strong enough to handle it and the data doesn't deteriorate, who cares? If all of a sudden the 10-year goes to 4 7/8 or 5 1/8, and all of a sudden you start to have companies lay off and you start to have poor data, market goes down 5% off highs or maybe 10%, guess what's going to happen? Hey, then the Fed could cut more than twice. So it's going to be a push-pull depending on, to me, administration policy, what they can get through, rates, and then how does the market react to it. So I wouldn't, look into. I'm not your David Rosenberg. I'm a technician, and I'm a strategist, and I've been doing this for 32 years, so I understand everything that goes on. So I can help you with your learning curve. But to me, anyone who's been following the yield curve hasn't made any money. If you've been shorting for the last 2 years, probably reading Mike Wilson stuff, not to talk smack about him. But anyway, let's talk about Medellin, Colombia. Did I meet you? I was in Cartagena for my 50th birthday. That was fun. Your long Tesla, Nvidia, and Meta took it all home. All right, so you got lucky. I'm just saying, the way the market closed, you flipped a coin and you won. You're going to make money today with your overnights, but chances are you do that 10 times, you're going to win 5 times, lose 5 times. There was really no edge there, but congratulations to you. So trim and trail. Anyway, as long as the TLTs hold 86.98, you can't, rates won't be too much of a program sell. All right, what else? So everyone, it's funny on Twitter. I guess everyone follows a bunch of people, and everyone's still saying, Red Dog, when is CELH going to have the January effect? I don't know. All I know is I've lost money in this thing I bought for the January effect somewhere around December-ish, and it hasn't even poked its head up. If we finally get like a one day where it outperforms the market and shows some volume, maybe I'll buy it with my options. But for now, it's been just an idea that is wrong until it's right. Okay, so don't just follow people blindly because you're going to lose your shirt. But anyway, wait for the market to confirm whatever it is or whoever it is you're following. Anyway, what else? Can you review Meta? Meta's doing all right. Meta actually bought some options, into the close, because again, it's kind of hanging around. And I said, hey, I don't think that this is. I'm not sure what we're going to do, if they're going to come and sell it because people have made so much money in Meta in the course of the year, or new flows are going to buy it. So I have some options in it just in case. Looks pretty good. This, to me, to be honest, I think Meta, like I do put some reports out there on what stocks I think could outperform other stocks. Just thoughts, and then we watch the way the market actually trades. I think Meta could be one of them. I think the Meta glasses are going to be huge. I think, listening to Zuck and some guys talk out there and actually having a pair of the Meta glasses, it's really optical computers are going to be, a theme much more than just Meta glasses, I think, moving forward. I know Google tried it and their glasses were horrible and they looked like I'm not even going to talk about it. But I think between, social media and Facebook and Instagram and, and just everything that Meta does, I feel like Meta could still be something that if we're going to, be up or down small, if we're up small, Meta could be something that outperforms. And, I still think Tesla, to be honest, for next year, it just made a new high since 2021. I think a big theme is going to be robotics. We heard Nvidia talk about it yesterday. Robotics over the next bunch of years, there's going to be a lot of robots everywhere. So, it might not be the product of the robot, but it might be the chips in the robot. It might be the software in the robot. It might be a lot of things. So I'm going to do a lot of homework on AI robots besides Nvidia and Tesla, on companies. Kind of like, remember when these stocks came up, like Oklo and the nuclear names, and everyone all started talking about the reactors that are going to be the energy source for the grid to power AI. Well, we started buying this here. I remember that was in October. The chart woke up. Somebody that was on the fundamental side said, hey, these three names, OKLO, SMR, NNE, are the ones. And all of a sudden, look at the size of that move. And we caught that early. A lot of people start jumping on here. Now it's still going sideways and looks okay. This could have been stage one of the move. Now, it's expanding. It's being held up. And, this thing could be 40, next year. So that theme of energizing the grid through nuclear, small little modular reactors could go. So if you find a theme early and you trade it technically and use a tier system, you can get rich and you can make a lot of money. Or you can just make consistent P&L. This was awesome. It's been a little choppier, but this looks okay. So anyway, I'm just saying, AI robotics is going to be a lot of names that pop up. Like, think about AI with, we had Nvidia for a while. Remember when SOUN popped up? That was down here. We started trading this down here. It was annoying. I remember at 612, it couldn't go. Everyone's like, well, Nvidia invested in it. When's it going to go? Then PS, it wound up giving you a really nice trend above the 8-day moving average. You could have sold strength, bought a dip, bought it through a level, sold some strength, bought a dip, whatever. So I'm just saying there are lots of ways to go about it. You just got to put the homework in and do your work and have your routine and your process, and do not much when there's not much to do. You understand? All right, 100 JM. Stock Equinix for AI data centers will be big. All right, Mario. That's what Mario. By the way, Mario, I think, works for Cisco. This is my Mario. So I have a lot of smart people in the 630 Club. A lot of people. So part of my job as the Chief Strategic Officer of Red Dog Mindset and the president and the founder and T3Live and all these things is to take a lot of people I trust and all the smart data, let it come in, and then put it into like a one-pager and spit it out and figure out how we can make money. And so Mario hears me talk about AI and talk about robotics, and he's like, AI data, and he works for Cisco. Not saying he's telling us anything we don't know, but there are people here that don't trade for a living that are just very smart. They work at software companies. They work at, data center scenarios. They work for AI. They work for, they're lawyers, doctors, heart surgeons. Anyway, so not everyone just trades for a living. Not say just, but everyone does a little bit of what they do, but want to figure out how to make more money. And you can only do that by being consistent and doing your work. Anyway, what's up, Trade to so here we are. It's 6:55. Wow. This is the last trading day of 2024. I don't want to get all nostalgic, but I've been doing this since 1998. This was a tough year a little bit here and there. I lost my dog. That was probably the toughest part of the year besides heart surgery. Heart surgery was easy compared to losing cadence. But anyway, just a lot of things happen. They take things away, you get things added, you appreciate the little things, and you move forward. So we all move forward. What's 2025 going to be like? It's hard to tell, market-wise, life-wise, but if you're strong-minded and consistent, you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you go about dealing with it. And how you deal with it is how strong your mind is. And, control what you can control, and that's what we do here. And we try and live life and feel joy in the day, right? Feel joy and happiness. Joy and happiness doesn't happen, down the road. Oh, one day I'll feel joy. One day I'll feel happy. No, you have to be feeling joy and happiness within what you're doing in order to have your day-to-day, have the clarity that it needs for success. And everyone defines success differently. Anyway, Happy New Year. It's 6:56. I don't think I'm doing a recap. I'm heading up to Westchester. A lot of my friends from high school and from college were getting together for New Year's Eve. So I might be on the road around 2 o'clock. It all depends on how things play out today. I might have to be on the road at 4:30 and have some fun, and try and stay up. I know a lot of us old bastards, fall asleep a little bit or need a nap before to be up till 12. So if that's you, just get it done and enjoy yourself. You know, um, I'm gonna go do my 40 charts, which is what I do every day after completing the 6:30 club, and I'm gonna post them to Redler Premium. I'm gonna hang out with the Alpha team. I'm gonna manage my positions, and I'm gonna see, how things transpire. Because again, here you are with the spies, a little bit of a doji, meaning, we held bigger support. We've come in off highs, and, it's hard to tell what's going to happen into the last part of the afternoon and into, Thursday. Typically you get new flows that come into a new year, okay? Because there's a lot of new money that comes in from 401ks, a lot of new money that comes in that sometimes you just put it right to work the first few days. So we see if that buy pressure overpowers the sell pressure or not. That's when we start to analyze a few of the days in January to figure out what's happening. But again, a lot of those old, stock trading almanac things, some of them are real, but they're not the end all. It's the day to day. All right, Sully, life happens. Let's enjoy it. I love it.